Alright guys, welcome back to my weekly manga review video. And to start with Naruto, chapter 602, I'm Alive. Now this chapter was pretty much all just the flashback of Obito and Madara meeting each other. So Obito wakes up and he sees this old man who has a Sharingan in his eye, and he asks if he's a Grim Reaper to take him to heaven or hell. And Madara, who is the old man, actually has a sickle with him. Now I have no idea what reason he would possibly have this other than for comedy, that he is the Grim Reaper. So that was kind of a joke. But they start talking, and we see these big cords coming out of Madara's back, and apparently they're feeding him chakra. And he tells him, "I'm a ghost of the Uchihas." So Obito says, "Well, who are you?" And he says, "I'm Madara Uchiha." So, of course he can't believe this, because Madara would be old as hell by now. So he says, "There's no way. Madara's a legend. He's one of my ancestors. Who are you really?" And he says, "I am Madara. I've just been cheating death, using this giant statue to feed me chakra. If I am away from this machine, I'll die." So he explains this to Obito, and he tells Obito that he's free to leave if he can, because Obito's freaking out. He wants to go back to the village. He wants to be with his friends again. He's kind of freaking out, and Madara says you can leave if you can, but of course he knows he can't leave. He knows Obito's in no shape to leave. And he tells Obito that it doesn't matter if he does leave, because the world he wants to go back to doesn't exist. He explains that there can't be winners without losers. There can't be people fighting for peace without killing other people. And of course Obito doesn't want to hear this. He still wants to try and escape. He's determined to leave this place. He's all messed up. He's missing an arm, his eyes messed up, of course. Madara healed him with Hashirama's cells, and Madara wants to use Obito to work off the debt and do things for him, because Madara wants to create a world where it's only peace. And Obito refuses to accept this, and Madara says, "I could just take your eye." And he says, "Why do you want my eye? You already have a Sharingan." And he says, "Well, actually these are spares. My real eyes I gave to someone else." Now I don't remember reading anywhere in the story where Madara gave his eyes to someone else, so that could be really interesting. That could be someone new or someone we've already seen. I don't know, but I thought it was really cool how he said he gave his eyes to someone else. These are spares, and he tells Obito, "I can always use more." So that was kind of a funny line there. And Obito realizes that this guy's serious, and he's got to think of something. And Madara says, "If I have two eyes, because he's missing one, then I can unleash my true power." And after hearing this, Obito thinks, with two eyes, I could finally be as strong as Kakashi, and we could both protect Ren. So even at the end of this chapter, Obito is still a good guy. He's still thinking about a way to get back to the village and protect Ren, and still become a ninja for the village. So that was it. That was the whole chapter. And at first I was kind of skeptical about this when I was thinking, okay, it's going to be a flashback. It's going to feel like Kishimoto just pulled it out of his ass. But no, this felt like it's been planned. It didn't feel like an ass pull. It felt like this had been planned out for a while, and that he has somewhere he's going with this. And I personally really enjoyed reading this flashback. I like the atmosphere of it all. It was just a really good chapter, and I'm looking forward to this next week, because you know they're going to continue this for a while, and I'm just really curious to see what Madara told Obito to get him into that Toby character. Because right now you cannot just envision Obito acting like that, doing the things he's done. It's just really hard to picture. So I am curious about that. So on to Bleach chapter 508, Like a Raging Fire. Yamamoto is extremely powerful. He's got his Ryetsu coming off of his body. It looks like flames. He's just incredibly strong. So much so, the Juha box says that if, even from this distance, if it wasn't for the Blute, I believe he said, I would be turned to ash. And Yamamoto says that we're going to end this quickly, or myself, you, and all of Soul Society is going to be burned to ash. So he cannot stay in this form very long without killing Ju-Ha-Bak off. He's got to end this battle. So he goes to attack him. Ju-Ha-Bak is shooting arrows. Of course, that's all he's got left since his sword is broken, and they do nothing. They have no effect. And he's got one more thing he can do. And he pulls out this Quincy, I think he said it was the strongest defense a Quincy has. And it's like this circle thing of crosses. And he tells Yamamoto that if he steps in here, he'll be torn apart by God's thunder. So, of course, I wanted to see this happen. And Yamamoto says, you still don't get it. You can't hurt me. And he slams his sword into the ground. And he does some type of summon of these 10 trillion, I believe, skeletons that just come out of the ground. Now, 10 trillion is a big number. And he said something when he was doing this, like, all of those who have been killed by my flames, I'm giving you one more chance at battle. Now, I know Yamamoto's old. Thousands of years old. But that is still really hard to believe if we're supposed to, and I don't know, maybe it just means like that's the name of the spell or whatever. But if Kubo wants us to believe that Yamamoto's killed 10 trillion people with his flames, that's asking a lot. It reminds me of Conan in Naruto with those 100 billion exploding tags or something like that. It's just a really over-the-top number. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with this, but we did see a bunch of skeletons come out of the ground and start to go after Ju-Ha-Bak, so it was interesting. And that was the end of this chapter for Bleach, and I thought it was good. There wasn't a lot of fighting, but what they had was really cool, and Ju-Ha-Bak right now is just looking like it's not good. It does look like Yamamoto's going to kill him. However, of course, I still believe Ju-Ha-Bak's got some type of trump card. He's going to kill Yamamoto, or at least severely injure him. He is the leader, and somehow in all of this, Aizen has to be freed. Because I just do not see Ju-Ha-Bak right now as the final villain in this series. I think it started with Aizen, and the fact that Aizen had followed Ichigo all these years of his life, he spied on him, all of this, it really has to be Aizen in the series. Or something, he's going to have to come up with something really cool if he's not going to bring Aizen back, but I feel like the only reason Aizen is alive is so he can come back. But anyways, it was a good chapter this week. So on to One Piece, 682. The cover story is Karabo has been captured by the G5, and Urasugi, I believe his name is, the guy with the metal legs. He's the commander for the G5, and he's captured Karabo, and he's thinking of all these ways he can torture him, burning him, stabbing him, hanging him, and that I'm pretty sure that what's going to happen in this cover story is Jinbe is going to save Karabo. But yeah, it was pretty cool, and also One Piece is on break next week, so there will be no One Piece chapter. But onto the chapter itself, we see the rest of the Straw Hats. They're riding Brownbeard still, and we have Zoro, Kinemon, Brook, Nami, Usopp, and they fight the dragon. Dragon's breathing fire all over the place, and Brook is pissed off at the dragon because the dragon wouldn't eat him because he's all bones. And he's saying stuff like, you think bones don't have nutritional value? And he's getting really angry at the dragon over that. And I thought it was pretty funny. Some good comedy in this chapter. So Brook and Kinemon go to fight the dragon. Kinemon cuts through its flames, which again impresses Zoro. And him and Brook deliver the final blow, knock the dragon out. Nami and Usopp actually get some attacks in here too. And afterwards, Kinemon is beating the dragon. And Brook says, why are you so mad? Is this about revenge? And Kinemon says something like, he says it's something like that. You could say that. So we don't really know what that means until the end of the chapter. Meanwhile, Sanji escapes from the passageway where it's filling up with poison gas. And his leg is injured from the fight with Virgo. Now, that shows you just how strong Virgo is. Because Sanji, I don't think, felt pain kicking Blunio from CP9. And he was a pretty strong guy. He had the strongest Takai of all the CP9 members. So for Sanji to feel pain kicking Virgo, that says a lot about his power. But he escapes the poison gas. He's talking to Tashigi, and Tashigi tells the G5, because they still believe it's a fake Virgo, and she tells them that yes, it is a fake, and I think she is only saying that so they don't feel hopeless, like the real Virgo is still out there, he could help them. She doesn't want to bring them down and say, yes, that's Virgo, the guy you admire trying to kill you. So I think that's the only reason she said that. And then we see Virgo, who calls Joker. And we see Don Quixote do Flamingo, and he's at this resort vacation house or something. And he's got all these people around him. This little girl eating grapes, this really big guy, and Baby 5, who is trying to kill Don Quixote. And he's talking on the phone while this girl is trying to kill him like it's nothing, just dodging attacks, which was really badass, I thought. And he's talking to Virgo, and Virgo says that Law has gone to the SAD room, and Don Quixote says, well, that means he's definitely betrayed us, so kill Law, and because of the SAD and Caesar being the only one who can make it, go ahead and kill Caesar too. And he tells Virgo, of course, you know, don't take Law for granted, he's very strong, and also be careful of Straw Hat Luffy, because he's probably stronger than Law now since he's mastered the Emperor's Haki. So that was pretty cool to me, because it shows that Luffy has gotten so strong after this time skip that even Don Quixote is acknowledging his power. And being stronger than Law is pretty damn strong. So I thought that was pretty impressive here. But he tells Virgo that he's going to send Baby 5 and Buffalo over to Punk Hazard to help out just in case. You know these guys are going to be strong. They're with Don Quixote. So when One Piece comes back from break, it's going to be full of action, I think, because this was a good setup here, and you know these guys, they've got to be powerful. So anyways, the last thing we see is those kids fighting Chopper, who's in monster form, fighting off those kids who are addicted to the candy. And what happens here? One of the kids is talking to those guys who wear the weird suits, and she says, where did that kid go? And one of the guys in the suit says, what kid? And she says, Momonosuke, who is Kinemon's son, just went into the secret room and turned into a small dragon. That's how it ended. Now, just what I'm taking from this is possibly Momonosuke has a devil fruit, the dragon devil fruit, and maybe that's why Kinemon hates dragons. I don't really know. I'm not really sure what to get from this. Obviously, we need more information. But just from hearing that, I'm thinking dragon devil fruit. But if Momonosuke is just a kid, that's kind of disappointing to me, because I wanted to see a character who is really badass have a devil fruit like that. Like maybe one of Big Mom's crew members or something. So yeah, that was a strange way to end the chapter, but it was a good chapter this week. You know, with Don Quixote, the fight with the dragon, that was cool. So some big stuff went down in this chapter. But yeah, that was it. That was all 3 mangas this week. Some good stuff. Looking forward to next week. Sadly, no One Piece, but Naruto and Bleach should still be awesome with the flashback and the fight continuing with Yamamoto and Juha Bach. So anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. Leave your thoughts on this week's chapters in the comments below, and thanks for watching.